Welcome to KBeatBot's second podcast. Just gonna have a little rant today. I think just gonna speak about a couple of things just to catch you guys up, catch myself up probably as well on what's happened over the last couple of weeks. First of all, it's the 31st of October. It is Halloween. We are starting Halloween today with pretty tragic news for I think everyone in Scotland and maybe around the world in that Sir Sean Connery has passed away, died aged 90. Bit of a tragedy, well, I bet. I mean, he basically was an ambassador for Scotland around the world. So that's a bit of a rough start for Halloween, but I guess that's what Halloween's about, is about ghouls and ghosts and spooky shit. Um, Sean Connery was definitely a pinnacle of Scottish heroes. I think he was. I think he even has Scotland Forever tattooed on him. He was definitely loved his country, and he actually grew up very close to where I'm right now. I think about 300 meters about west of myself in Fountainbridge. I live in Gorgie, so yeah, that's him passed away, which is a big shame. A big shame. So we'll dedicate this podcast to him, although nobody gives a shit about that. But yeah, sorry, Sean, and you'll be greatly missed. I think one of definitely the best James Bonds, definitely. Um, so it is Halloween. Um, I thought, you know what, do something a little bit different, do a little bit of a podcast today, and I was looking at myself in the mirror. I just thought I need a shave. My stubble has really got out of control. So I had a bit of a shave, and I was actually watching a documentary this morning from Vice about El Chapo, one of the biggest um, Mexican cartel runners in history, and about how he escaped from prison and the elaborate tunnel they had dug for him. They had like a motorbike in this tunnel which they rode up and down. And it was like a mile and a half long from the prison where he was to where he escaped from. Um, so I saw El Chapo, and he's obviously notorious, almost like El Patron, Pedro, that he has a moustache. And I thought, you know what? It's come up to November. I'm gonna leave the moustache on. So I'm rocking the moustache, long ass sideburns as well. I think I'm starting to look like I made a comparison of myself to Henry Cavill in Mission Impossible 65 or whichever Mission Impossible he was in. So my moustache is not as great. It's pretty shit, but I'm rocking that. I'm trying to give myself the confidence in doing that there. Today we're going to talk about a couple of subjects. First of all, I'm going to open up a beer, which will lead me on to my first subject. So first of all, we're going to talk about my birthday. It was my birthday, yes, it was, about a week ago, on the 22nd. So I'm just going to talk about what I did, and what I couldn't and could do, which would basically lead on to a brief amount about what's currently going on around the world. I think we all know exactly what's going on around the world, and what that's led me to actually to do for my birthday, but also again something quite big happened in my life. Not massive, but it's something which has affected my life even more now. And then a couple of firsts as well I would like to talk about is I had my first cigar on Sunday, and the atrocities of how I smoked it, and also about a book I'm reading, which it's a classic book, and I've heard about it everywhere. And all my friends have read it, but I have never got around to it. And I'd like to mention about it. It's 1984 by George Orwell. So I'm opening up a beer. First beer I've got today, or the first beer I'm going to have anyway. And what we have is this was given to me by my friend, um, and it's called Yella Moo. Yella Moo. I don't know where this is from. I think it's an American pale ale, and it's from the Magic Rock Company. Yeah, it's an American pale ale. 7.4%. So I'm going to be absolutely blutered at just having maybe half of this, but we'll give it a try. It's quite dark. Okay. Well, we'll leave that to sit whilst we talk. So yeah, as I mentioned, it was my birthday on the 22nd. And you may be wondering, Calvin, what the fuck did you do? And let me tell you, it was the most boring birthday ever. It was no, it was fine. I had to actually work during the day for it. My day job is working in financial services, and I had to work during the day because I couldn't get the day off. And it was fine because I mean I worked at home, and I was, obviously when you work at home, you don't have your manager looking over your shoulder, you don't have colleagues around you. You just kind of sit with your laptop and get on with it. So I was able to kind of chill out, and I'm not going to say what I did, so I don't get in trouble, just in case any colleagues listen to this. But I was able to chill out and take a step back, shall we say, and crack open some presents. Quite funny. One of my friends, sent me she sent me a birthday present. Well, it wasn't. Well, no, it was a present. Okay. Now I live by myself in this one-bedroom flat, and she sent me a Deliveroo, and this was like 11 o'clock in the morning, and this delivery driver knocks on the door, and I have a message from my friend, and she says, "Hey, you've got a package. Make sure to to accept it and to be at home." I was like, "Well, I'm working, so I'm gonna be here." And I get the knock on the door. I was like, "Cool." And I was expecting like an Amazon package, something from Amazon, something classic like that, just some random. It doesn't have to be anything. I don't care. I'm not materialistic. As long as, I don't even care if you acknowledge it's my birthday. Just, if you give me a present, I don't care what it is. Thank you for the sentiment. I really appreciate it. But I get a knock at the door, and there's this young lad on a bike, and he's got a big delivery bag. I was like, "Cool, bro. What's this?" He goes, "This is for you." And he gave me two bags from the co-op, and I was like, "Sweet, bro." And one was like quite light, and the other one was quite heavy, and I could hear it was bottles. So I thought, okay, that's beer then, obviously. And he's like, "I need to take your date of birth," and I was like, "Oh, it's actually today." And he said, "Oh, happy birthday, bro." And I was like, "Thanks, dude." And he was the only person on my birthday to physically, in person, say happy birthday to me. Now, I don't want any tragedy and tears. That's not me pulling on your heartstrings. It's because he was the only person really to say that to me coherently. There was some stories later on. Anyway, so I get the bags open, and one is 8 bottles of beer. It's 8 bottles of San Miguel. I was like, "Oh, that's nice. A few beers. I appreciate that." I mean, I did get this delivery also at 11 a.m. in the morning. So I think the guy gave me a bit of a weird look getting all this beer. But also in the other bag was 4 freshly made pizzas. And I was looking at them and I was like, I live by myself. And I was wondering why this guy was giving me such a weird look. So I've got 4 pizzas and 8 beers. And you must think, who is this guy, in this flat by himself? So that was a bit of a weird one, just kind of looking at him and looking at my pizzas and my beers and going, "It's my birthday, bro." It's what happens. So yeah, my birthday itself was actually quite chilled. I I did I did drink some beer. I had quite a lot of beer actually. I opened up a bottle of rum, and I decided to go for a walk about. At this point, it was about 7 o'clock at night. I finished work at 6, and by about 6:30, I was pretty gone. I was pretty bloated. So I decided to go for a walk. And right now, obviously, Edinburgh, well, not obviously, but right now, Edinburgh is in lockdown with bars and pubs. So you can't sit down in there. But a few of them are doing takeaway pints. And there's the closest one to me is Brewdog, which is just off Lothian Road in Edinburgh. And me in my drunken state, I thought, you know what, I'll just go for a walk, and if I just happen to come across Brewdog, I may as well have a pint or two. Um, And so I did. I went to Brewdog, and it's a bit crazy because you go there, and I mean, right now it's October. It's not freezing cold, but you've got to wear your jacket. It's pretty nippy. It's pretty nippy outside. And I went there on a Thursday night on my birthday, obviously. And it was about, I would say 7:30, and there was a good 40, 50 people just outside Brewdog, just all chilling, just chatting, having pints of beer. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I obviously got myself a pint and just stood by the doorway, put my headphones on, just listened to some music and just chilling out. And in front of me there was these men. I know, shocking men, eh? But they must have been in their late 50s, early 60s, I would say. And they were all builders. Because they started chatting to me because they saw I was by myself. I was standing adjacent to them about 3 meters away, and they were just kind of sat on this little table. And they said, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just having a pint, mate." And they were like, "Oh, you can join us." And I felt a bit weird. I was like, I mean, at the end of the day, I was pretty drunk, so I was like, why not? But it was a bit weird. I thought, you know what, I'll join them, have a laugh. And to be honest, they were really, really nice guys. Now, I did tell them it was my birthday, but none of them told me, and none of them said, "Oh, happy birthday." They just went, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yes." Now, I'm not expecting that, but it was a bit of a weird reaction from these guys until I realised what they were doing and why they were sitting on the bench. So we sat on the bench and they were just chatting and we were just talking about what was going on, restrictions, and they were complaining about if you sit inside you have to pay £5.50 for a pint, but if you go outside it's £3.50, and about Thatcher and all this. And whilst I was having a conversation with one of them, there was four of them. The boy sitting down on the bench, he started to pull out these wraps of cocaine, and he's like, "Do you want to get in on this?" And I was absolutely hammered. I was like, and bear in mind, there's like, as I said, 40, 50 people around, and he's just racking up lines on this bench. All these people can see this. And he's like, "Do you want in on this?" I was like, No, you go ahead." And I was kind of concerned in a couple of ways. Because number one, they were doing these drugs in front of a lot of people, including the bar, which could see them doing this. And number two, these were old men. I was like, "Man, if you do this, you're going to get a heart attack. You're going to pass away." And I was quite drunk. And I said to him, "I was like, are you sure you should be doing that, bro?" Like, he goes, "Oh, mate, I've been doing this for many, many years. I do it more now than I did in my 20s." And I was like, "Well, probably in your 20s they didn't have cocaine back then, did they?" I mean, come on. They're probably still eating tulips for you, weren't they? For the opium. And, obviously they laughed at this. But yeah, just blatantly cocaine wraps. And these guys were wild. Like, they didn't give a fuck about anything. They obviously, with the bars, you're not allowed to go inside. So where do you go for a piss? These guys would just get their dicks out about 5 meters away, start pissing in the middle of the courtyard. Again, 40, 50 people can see you. But they were hilarious. Although delinquents in their 60s, they were hilarious. I decided to leave at about 9 o'clock. It was a good conversation with the boys, but I was like, you know what, I need to go home. I've got work in the morning, which I did. And I went home, and at this point, I was very, very drunk. I had maybe about 3 pints of this place, and the boys had like a whiskey. They had like a Bushmills, a bottle of Bushmills. They said, "Take a swig of that." I took a swig of it. It was horrible, but I was like, you know what? I'm pretty pissed right now. And I got like an Uber home, got a takeaway. I can't even remember what takeaway I got. Oh, I think it was a Nando's. Who gets a Nando's as takeaway? I got some shit takeaway. And at this point, I was kind of at the point of no return because I had work in the morning. It was like I started work at 10, which is not too bad. It could be worse. But I had work in the morning at 10, so I wanted to get to bed about a reasonable hour. But I just started to just drink this rum. And I bought this bottle of rum for the next day, the Friday. And I started drinking the rum, and I started sending these Snapchats to. Yeah, you're gonna laugh now. Like, why is a 32-year-old man sending Snapchats? I don't know. I really don't know why I'm doing this. But I started sending these really drunk Snapchats of me making a rum old fashioned. I'll try and upload the video. It's pretty embarrassing, but I thought I was hilarious in these Snapchats because I was doing stupid things like putting ice in a Tupperware and just chucking like it was countless amount of rum into this drink and me just drinking it on the spot, and I just got really really drunk. Um, to the point where I passed out. I passed out by about 11:30. Woke up at 3 and put myself to bed. I was fine actually the next day. I was good to get up at the next day, but I was so rough. But you know what? Despite all that, and despite the solidarity, despite that, I was hanging around with a few 60-year-old cokeheads, and the outrageous rum old fashions. It wasn't that bad. It was fine. What else are we meant to do in this situation? I can't go out. I can't see my friends. Inside anyway. There's no bars open to actually sit inside and chill out in. We're not allowed to go to people's places. So what else are we meant to do? And I've always been quite open. I'm quite comfortable hanging out by myself. I don't mind my own company. I can entertain myself quite happily. I mean, I'm doing a podcast where I'm just talking to a microphone to whoever's listening to this. I'm happy to do that. I don't mind. I don't care, and I'm always going to be that way because I think of a few factors. Maybe because I've grown up as an only child. Maybe because I'm quite independent now. I don't know. Maybe that's something to discuss in a different podcast. I don't want to drown on because this could be a long one. I promise it won't be a long one. This will be a much shorter one. I imagine. I hope. But yeah, no, my birthday day was actually okay. It was decent. I actually really enjoyed it. I didn't feel that rough on the Friday afterwards, the morning afterwards. Um, I was pretty fine. I was okay to work. And then on the Friday, I was able to see a couple of my friends. So my friend, we'll call him, RK or KR. We'll give him an anagram, KR. He said that we should meet up, and I did. And with my friend JM or MJ, we'll call him MJ. RK and MJ. I don't want to put names on here because they might be embarrassed. I don't want them to get involved if they don't want to. Unless they want to come on here and have a discussion, then I'm happy to talk about them. But yeah, I went to meet them up in the place I was at the night before, at the Brewdog again. And we just sat there and we just, again, got really drunk. And we're having pints and drinking bourbon, which RK gave me, which was a Jim Beam. Very kind of him to give me that. Um, and the pub closes like at 10. Like the last orders is 9:30, and we were there till like midnight, just sitting outside chatting about everything. And I was really drunk, but it was so nice just to see people that you're familiar with. Um, and obviously I don't see these guys as often as I would like to, but it was good to catch up. But again, I was so drunk from this, and the same story as Thursday night. I got an Uber home, but I was for me Friday was going to be planned for like I would chill out, I would do some edibles, and then I was able to kind of chill out in the flat and listen to some music and just lay back and be cool. But obviously we stayed out till midnight. I was like, oh, I can't do this. But I was so drunk, I thought, you know what? Fuck it, we'll still do the edibles. And oh my god! So I came home again at midnight. I was like, my rational mind was like, don't do it, don't waste it. You don't have much left. Just use it for Saturday, and then you can um, do some on Sunday or whatever. You just appreciate it, but no. When Calvin's drunk, he gets a little bit greedy, and he said, "You know what? Let's do the edibles." I did them, and I ate them about midnight. I cooked one of the pizzas that I was given from my friend, and I remember burning the pizza because I took the pizza out of the oven and it was almost black, but it was still edible. I thought I still ate it, but I remember taking the pizza out of the oven. I don't remember anything else. I remember just being so high and drunk and giggling away and barely eating the pizza. I literally just looking at this pizza on my white coffee table and the disparity of the black and the dark maroon of the tomato sauce on the pizza and my white coffee table, and just the disparity of color were just making me giggle so much. And all I remember was giggling on that, playing some music again really loudly, and this was maybe at 1 o'clock in the morning, just sitting there chilling, listening to the music. And I mean, I think that's what happens is when you do these kind of when you do these edibles, is that the music just changes. It just kind of it becomes so good. You just kind of love every single, and it could be the shittest song in the world. Like one of the one of the music things I had with edibles was once I did some edibles, and I don't like I don't mind Bob Marley. I do like some of his music, but Soldier, I just I've never been a fan of it. I just never really got it. But as soon as I had some edibles, I listened to Buffalo Soldier. I was rinsing every lyric. I was just repeating everything. I was putting on repeat. I was dancing. I was appreciating every word. Just everything kind of changes in your mindset when you do, I think, edibles and almost psychedelic drugs in that sense. Oh, I just took a big gulp of that beer. That's very hoppy. I do like a hoppy beer, but that's from Thornbridge. Okay, I mean it's not bad. I'm not gonna waste it. It's quite thick actually. It's weird. It's like a wheat beer, but American pale ale. That's a bit weird. So yeah, that's what I did the Friday. So the Saturday I was completely blanked out. I was like, you know what? I wanted to party on the Saturday as well because I was going to see one of my friends and they came over, but I was dead. I was dead by 11 o'clock. I went to bed and at 11 o'clock, and I couldn't function. So that's what I did for my birthday. I wanted to do a bit of a bender and go out on the Saturday as well with my friends. Well, not go out obviously, but hang out with him, have a few beers. And he also wanted to do edibles, but I did most of them anyway the night before, but wasn't able to. So, but we got to make the best of what we have. I think otherwise, in comparison, my birthdays, I've always tried to make them quite quiet, unless it's like a big one. So if it's like my 30th, I would try to plan something, but I got a surprise party. But I still tried to plan something anyway. Um, but yeah, I try to keep my birthdays quite quiet. So I don't think anything much more could have been done anyway. I wouldn't have, I mean, I've probably gone to the pub with a couple of mates, had a few beers. Again, I couldn't get the time off anyway, so it wouldn't have really affected me trying to get home early anyway. So, but I think that's what changes with your birthday as well. When you get old, I mean, like I'm 32 now. This is, I can see the end of the road. To bring a more of a morbid side to it, but 32, the birthdays kind of just all merge into each other. I think I was not, I didn't feel happy it was my birthday or anything. I was just kind of, it was nice to speak to people, and it was nice to talk to people, through messaging and from people to give me congratulations. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit weird. You remember when you're young and you kind of, it becomes up to your fifth or seventh or just any birthday at all when you're young, before you're 13. I think is like really exciting. So you get presents and everyone's really nice to you. And you get some cake and all your friends. Just all changes, doesn't it? Because at the end of the day, you kind of, you're not looking forward to getting older. I think this is becoming quite a morbid one, isn't it? Okay, well, I think we should leave the birthday chat. So, I mean, the reason why I had to go outside for a pint was obviously because of what's going on in the world. It's COVID-19, isn't it? So, lockdown is again approaching. I think I'm just literally seeing an update just now. Boris Johnson is going to announce lockdown measures lasting a month in England. Wow, okay. So lockdown is basically coming again. I think it'll come to Scotland soon as well. And well, it's like history repeating itself, isn't it? It's just it's a bit. I don't know what else to say really about this. It's getting to the point where we don't know. Is this going to happen for many years to come? What is the solution to all this? I think I've read some articles that we need to find a vaccine, obviously, that numbers need to be controlled. I think a lot more people are suggesting herding again, which I think I'm pretty much up for. I think herding is it definitely has to be considered, but it's a difficult one, isn't it? We don't know. In Scotland itself, we've got the tier systems. We've got, I think, 5 tiers. Um, so currently in the Central Belt, so that's Edinburgh to Glasgow and basically everything in between them. We're currently in tier 3, if I'm not mistaken, from Monday. Let me just check that. Tier 3. So tier 3 restrictions, Scotland. Yeah. So what is tier 3? You can't let it open till. So yeah, so tier 3 system. So basically that means that pubs and restaurants are allowed to open till 6 p.m. to serve food and non-alcoholic drinks. Alcohol sales not be permitted indoors or outdoors. All leisure and entertainment venues are closed at this level, including cinemas. Oh wow, didn't know that. I think cinemas were reopened, were they not? For Tenet. I remember that film Tenet. I think. Hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. This is a strange one, isn't it? It's. We didn't think we'd be in this position a year ago, did we? Definitely not. No. I don't know. It's basically all we talk about. All everyone talks about. We sit there and we talk about COVID and lockdown and how it's affecting everyone. It's just part of our conversation. Part of we all have masks in our pocket now. We have to go outside. You take a mask with you because if you go on the bus, you go on a shop, you go anywhere, you have to wear a mask. It's Halloween, so it's probably the only appropriate time to wear masks now in traditional pre-COVID levels. But yeah, now we've got a life has changed. It's changed most certainly, and it's I don't know. I don't know what else we can do. Um, I kind of think of I'm going to touch on like kind of a dystopian level, but again that'll link back to the book that I've purchased in 1984. But it kind of does anyone think that this will carry on and the government will completely cripple our economy because it looks like it's going that way. It really does. Um, and that kind of smoothly links into what happened to me this week due to the tier 3 restrictions, due to lockdown, is that I actually lost a job. I lost my bar job. I got dismissed because the restrictions basically meant that the bar I worked for don't have the hours, so they can't give me the hours for me to work essentially. So, and also furlough doesn't cover. It stops today actually, the 31st. Is it 31st? It stops today. So they can't afford to keep me on staff, which I'm not. I'm see, for me it's okay because I have the day job, so I can keep myself going. I'm okay. I did the bar job because of a couple of things. I did it because I enjoy bartending. I love the industry. I love serving, not serving. I love chatting to people and making drinks, and I like getting slapped, as in not slapped, but I like a busy bar. I like to perform well in a bar. And so those were the agendas. I mean, the income itself was handy to go into savings. I put a lot of the money into basically saving for a mortgage and going into my pension, and I use that for mostly that. So it was almost disposable income. So I am fine with my other job, but that does put me back a little bit in that, I need now, my savings are going to stop. And so if anything else does happen, so say my day job, they cut my hours or they, God forbid, fire me, that does mean that, okay, I'm in a very vulnerable position, even though I do have savings. So I'm okay. I'm fine. Like I'm actually good, and I don't blame the company at all that I work for. I don't blame them for it. I don't blame any of the managers for it at all. It really isn't their fault. I know this is a difficult time, so I don't have anything against any of them. I really, to be honest, I knew I was going to go anyway because I was part time and it was kind of due to happen. I was just kind of waiting for when it was. So who I do feel bad for though is I do know that a couple of people who I worked with got dismissed, short term dismissed, and they were full time and they were so reliant on that job. They were so reliant on the furlough and on the actual work itself, and they got dismissed. And these are people who they were full time, so this is their livelihood. This is what keeps them alive almost. And yeah, I mean, for them to get dismissed, it's actually a tragedy because I mean, number one, you're working in a bar job where you're getting paid minimum wage. You're doing a lot of hours usually. Say pre-COVID, you're doing a lot of hours to get your life into order. So, if you want to, I think, have a good life and get yourself liquidated and that you keep yourself level, you have to do over 40, 45, 50 hours in a bar to make sure that you have enough money to either, if you want to start saving or to keep yourself afloat, I think. Because minimum wage, although you can live on it, it's very difficult and you don't have so much disposable income. So you do have to work hard to kind of keep yourself level. Um, and that was pre-COVID, and now during COVID, you get the furlough scheme, which gives you 80%. And obviously, I think life is more restricted, so you're not going out for drinks, you're not using the bus as much, you're not using as many services. That does save money, but still, 80% of your wage, or minimum wage, is is very difficult to live on. But I think people may do, they've made sacrifices. But now the furlough scheme is ended, and they've dismissed people. It's it's a bit of a tragedy. Like I know people that have been dismissed and lost their jobs, and now they have to try and find something else. And these are people who they're career bartenders. They've done it for many many years. So it's going to be difficult for them. If there is anyone listening to this who has been dismissed from work or is struggling, I'm going to put a link in just of the government website. I know you think, oh, it's the government, they're useless. There is some, so they have like universal credits available. So I'm just checking right here. So universal credit, job seekers allowance as well. Get on board this. I know it's not a lot of money, but if it helps you just tie over for a bit, or just puts food in your mouth, or helps you keep up the rent, then yeah, get on this and apply. They will. They also say they do advance payments as well. So I know the government we're not really trusting them at the moment, but there are these services available. So do get yourselves involved in that. It's not embarrassing to get involved and not embarrassed to ask for help. So do apply, but yeah, and I mean the whole industry as a whole, the bar and restaurant industry and hospitality is dying. It's dying. I mean the bar I worked for is a big bar. It's a place that employed, I would say, over 70, 80 people. And I think now they're down to skeleton staff of like 15 to 20. It's crazy, and this is a big bar, and they're saying they have to make economic cuts. For this is one individual bar, part of the conglomerate of many bars. So this is killing our industry. It's killing pubs and restaurants, and it's making thousands of people just in Edinburgh itself unemployed, looking for work, and it's actually pretty scary because if this carries on, Christmas is coming. Christmas is such a key time for any retail or bar or restaurant. Christmas is coming. I don't think Christmas is going to be heavily traded. At the most they'll have the 10 p.m. license open, but that's it. They're not going to be able to do full service where they have people packed in the bar. It'll be table service. It'll be very controlled. Also, a lot of people won't have money to go out for Christmas. No, none of these big Christmas booking. I mean, if you remember, you have the Christmas bookings where there's like 50, 60, parties of some places can do hundreds and hundreds of people, thousands sometimes. These places are going to be empty. They're not going to be able to stay open. So the test will be Christmas, and then January is going to come, and I think that really will be when shit hits the fan because, well, what else are January's always a quiet month. What else are people going to do? No one's going to go out in January. So it is a waiting game. It is a knife fight. We're kind of, I think people are trying to balance, trying to get work, but also trying to see what to do in the future. And I think it's quite difficult if you just lost your job. What the best course is? Should you stay in Edinburgh? Should you move back home? Is there someone you can stay with? I would, if you've lost your job recently, if you don't have enough money, if you're not getting the hours that you need, or you're not getting the tips. I mean, again, people are forgetting that tips are so important in the bar and hospitality industry. If you're not getting the same income you're getting, you need to make decisions on, okay, what is the contingency plan here? Because this is, we think it's bad now. It's going to get worse. It is going to get much worse, and this is tragic. It's horrible, but it is going to get much worse. You need to think of contingency plans right now. If you can move back home, do it. If your parents have a place to live, do it. If you have friends who have a spare room in their flat and they're struggling for rent, move in with them as well. Get your rent shared. Just do whatever you can to kind of. I hate to be the corny guy. Get together, like no, don't do that. But think about selfishly yourself and how you are going to get through this. That's what I'm doing. I'm sitting here thinking, shit, I've lost my bar job. Now, yeah, as I said before, I've got the day job, but the bar job did help me with money that disposable money. Now I don't have that disposable money come in, so I'm just going to be working for the day job. And if that gets in jeopardy, which it very much could do, then I could be in a sinking ship. I'd have to go dip into my savings, which is not a lot. That could be all over by next year. So, think about yourself. And this is the best podcast ever. This is the most happiest. This is the happiest podcast you've ever listened to. Yeah, it really is a fucking disaster, isn't it? And it's good to see that some bars they're differentiating. So you're getting pop-ups who are doing food from a window. I think I saw one of my friends put up, is it Nauticus, which is a new bar in Edinburgh, which is just a window. And you go in there and you can order pints to take away and food to take away. So it's kind of like a takeaway, but there's like a bar inside. So, bars are thinking ahead, but it's more about the people themselves, isn't it? Yeah. What do you guys think? If you do need any help or you got any questions, I'm not saying I'm someone that you should ask, but if you just want someone to talk to, just put a comment down below or just give me a message. It's fine. It's KBeatBot. You can message me on Instagram as well, at KBeatBot as well. It's a tough time, so talk to me if you want. No one listens to this anyway, so I will respond. Yeah, it's I don't know what else to say. I mean, it is kind of for me losing that job. I did enjoy working there. One of my best friends works there as well, and I don't know. I love working in bars, and it's just the bar industry has just been completely set on fire. Even, I mean, there was that Hanover 99 was, I would say Hanover 99 is my favourite bar in Edinburgh. And then they did the refurb. I never got to actually go inside the new refurb because they had decided to close it after being only open for a few weeks. That's crazy. I mean, they're crazy. I know the owners, and they're really nice people. So I know they wouldn't do anything irrational like that. I mean, it must be something. And they've closed. I mean, what's going on? What the hell is going on? It is a tragedy. As long as Garibaldi stays open. Oh god, that place is a minefield. I think someone told me that Garibaldi's is doing. They're doing food. Like Garibaldi's is going to do food inside. This is a place where they thought social distancing was putting tables within shower curtains. So you sit at a table, they put a shower curtain around you, and that's social distancing. And someone pops their head through and go, "Can I get your order?" Can you imagine that? You've got that plastic, like not even like the shower curtain, like a partition, like an actual curtain, shower curtain. You know the shower curtains that stick to your fucking ass when you're in the shower. They're so annoying. That in Garibaldi's, where everything is sticky anyway. I love Garibaldi's, by the way, but its hygiene is questionable when it's busy. So can you imagine during COVID? I think they'd probably keep it quite clean. But you're going out, you're sweating, you've got drinks everywhere. That's going to get sticky, and that's what they did. They just put shower curtains up because they were like, "Oh fuck it, we'll do the most effective way we can think possible." So we'll put some shower curtains up. Oh god, I miss Garibaldi's. It's great. But yeah, lastly, just check out the links I'll put in the description if you are struggling. I'll put the links in there. It's from the gov.uk. Check them out. Get yourself some financial support if you can. If you do qualify, do it. Hit me up if you do need anything. If you want me to try and look for something, I'll try and help you as much as I can. So do look into that. Okay, I'm trying to keep this podcast as short as possible because I know people got annoyed it was so long last time. So the next subject I want to talk about is I did a first because it was my birthday, and after that bender I had from the Thursday to Friday, huge bender for a 32-year-old. I thought I'd try first, and I bought some cigars. And I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'll smoke a cigar for the first time. So on Sunday, because Saturday I was too hungover, I was with a mate, I couldn't be arsed. I was like, I can't do this. So on Sunday, I bought some cigars. I bought two cigars. I still have one here, but I smoked one last Sunday. And it was weird. It was weird. I went to the shop and I said to the man, I was like, look, I've never smoked a cigarette in my entire life. Like, not a whole one. I've taken a toke of it. I thought it was a toke anyway. And that's it. I've never done anything like that. Never smoked a cigar. Never smoked a cigarette. Never smoked anything. Yes, Kelvin, you're a badass. I know. But I thought, fuck it. 32. I'm an older man now. I need to, try it. Just try it. So Sunday I did a lot of research because this is how white I am. I did a lot of research and looking at YouTube videos. I saw some YouTube videos on how to cut a cigar. I don't have a cigar cutter, so I improvised anyway. And I started following these people who smoke cigars as a YouTube channel. There's YouTube channels where all they do is just sit there and smoke cigars and talk. It's great, and I think I might start doing that as well. Light up a cigar, and it came to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it, and I bought these cigars from a small shop in Rose Street. Again, oh god, again going back to the just briefly, how quiet is Rose Street? How quiet is George Street? How quiet is everywhere? Geez, town is a ghost town. It's so scary. It is literally like 28 weeks later. Essentially, it is. From lockdown, 28 weeks is that. That's about 6 months, is it? 6 months? Yeah, just over 6 months. Yeah, 6 months from lockdown. It's crazy. It's just so dead. Anyway, I went to this small shop on Rose Street. Really nice guy who opens up the shop. Really, understood what I said. I went in there and said, "Hello, young man," because I'm 32 now. That's what I have to start doing. I would like a solo cigar, please. I thought I sounded like a complete douchebag when I said I want a solo cigar. And when I talked to the guy, he was obviously a man of a gentlemanly status. He obviously has smoked many cigars in his life. He was very knowledgeable. He had, I think, a stopwatch, not what are they called, a pocket watch in his front shirt pocket, and very handsomely dressed. And I was like, "Hello, I'd like a solo cigar." He went, "Oh yes, here you go." And he pulled out this box, like it was out of Harry Potter. Opened up this wooden box, and in there was these singular cigars there, and there was little price tags and all of them. And I was doing my research on the internet, and I literally just went where to buy cigars in Edinburgh, and it came up with these websites, and the cigars were like £300, and I was like, I hope I can find something a little bit cheaper than that. But I went to the shop, and all the cigars were about £10, about £10.50, £10.99, and he taught me through each and in every single cigar. I didn't ask him to do this. I think he sensed I was a cigar virgin, that I've never smoked a cigar before. So he taught me through each one, and I said, "Look, I'll just go for these two here." And I went for basically the second biggest ones they had, because I didn't want one of the small ones. I wanted a cigar, and I'm not scared. I thought, I'll just go for it. I got cigars, looked at these videos, and I thought, right, I'm ready. So about 9 o'clock at night, I opened up the curtains. I did smoke it inside. So I looked at the video, and the video basically showed me how to light it and how to cut it. Now I cut it with a pair of scissors, which cracked the skin of the cigar a little bit, but it was okay. But I thought that's an amateur move. I've fucked it now. But um, I I was a little bit apprehensive because I've never smoked and I didn't know what the hell it was going to be like having smoke in my mouth, because you're not meant to swallow, you're not meant to inhale it. And I lit the cigar, and I just didn't know. I'm an amateur. I have no fucking idea. I didn't know if it was a light or not, so I was lighting it for a good minute and a half, 2 minutes with a lighter, just sitting there burning it away, because I had no idea. I thought it was meant to be on fire. I thought I was meant to see a flame. I didn't know as well that once you light it, you have to puff through it. You have to. I had no fucking idea. I was just looking at it. I just started lighting it, and then the ash started to form, and I was like, okay, I think that should be ready. But I didn't see any flames or any like molten. I don't. It's not molten. It's not molten like that, but kind of the embers of the cigar. And I thought, right, fuck, I'll take my first, take my first puff of it. Um, and I put it in my mouth, and I thought I inhaled it, but I didn't really feel anything go in. And I was like, I was trying to smoke it. And I was like, I don't really feel it. Like I could taste the cigar, but only from the actual wrapper itself and the tobacco. But I couldn't actually taste the smoke or anything. I was like, this is not how it looks like. There was no smoke coming out my mouth. But I thought, maybe that's just the cigar, because Googled it and it says, oh, some cigars have white smoke, some have blue smoke. And I thought, well, I'm sitting here in the dark, it could be blue smoke. And I just started doing this again and again. And I'm not joking, it was maybe about 20 minutes of smoking a cigar for. And I wasn't feeling anything. I was just like, oh, I mean, it's nice, it's nice holding this thing on fire. And I kept lighting it as well, because I didn't think it was on fire. I was trying to change it. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not doing it right. Maybe it's not on fire properly. I thought I was meant to see like real flames. Um, so I kept lighting it, and which made the cigar even smaller and smaller. But it was still a big cigar, so there's quite a lot of it left anyway. Um, and then I saw this article on Google, and this was like 25 minutes in, whilst I thought I was smoking a cigar. I was like, yeah, you really have to wrap your mouth around it. And what I didn't realize was when I was sucking in the smoke, there was a partial opening in my mouth. So basically, I was sucking the smoke. The smoke was coming out my mouth, and I saw I saw on Spider-Man, there was a YouTube video of Spider-Man of J.K. Simmons smoking a cigar, and he literally wraps his mouth around the cigar and making the cigar wet with his spit and just sucking in the smoke. I was like, oh. So I thought, right, fuck it, I'll do that. And I put on my mouth right around this, and I just went, and holy fucking shit, I felt everything just blow up in my mouth. Boom. And I coughed so much. I coughed so much because it felt like going up my nose, out my nose, and that was horrible. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Because I put in such a huge suck. It filled my mouth. I didn't inhale it. I just coughed it all out. It was like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. And then the smoke came out of my mouth. I was like, oh, right, that's how you do it. So obviously after that experience, I was a little bit more apprehensive, and I was like, okay, let's do a smaller one this time. And the second time, I did as much, but just kind of slowed it down and took it in a little bit slower and not as much. And it was actually, yeah, I still coughed it out, but it was actually quite nice. It was weird. The cigar was quite creamy. It was a little bit sweet. I could swear I could taste like a little bit of like coconut. It was weird, but it was really really nice. I thought, right, okay, I've done it now. All right, so just do that. And I really grabbed hold of the cigar, and you know what? I coughed the first couple of times. I'm gonna admit, yeah, I did. But after getting used to it, and after actually wrapping your mouth around it, you do get used to it. It's fucking empowering. You sit there, you've got this fucking thing in your mouth, which is on fire, and you're smoking the fire in your mouth and then puffing it out. And you think, you know what? I'm a bit of a badass, you know? And you start thinking about the movies, about the gangsters from the 1920s who they've got fucking miniguns in their hands and what they call drum guns in their hand, and they're driving around cars, cigar in hand, and I thought, I can do that now. I can definitely do that. But yeah, no, it was definitely it was weird, and you don't get high off it or anything. It's not like a buzz naturally from cigar. I think it's a buzz from actually the empowerment of it in your hands because you're holding something which you control. It's on fire, and it kind of it's going to sound so pathetic, but it kind of sounds like it feels like it's a little bit dangerous, but it's not. Do I sound like a virgin yet? Yeah. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed that cigar, and I smoked it once I was able to smoke it properly. I smoked it for about half an hour, and then it started to get a little bit bitter. So I said, right, okay, I'll put that out. Um, but yeah, no, I've got another one left. I might even smoke that tonight because, oh, fuck it, why not? But that was my first experience with a cigar. I'm probably still shit at smoking cigars, but if anyone has any advice, let me know. Just give a little comment. Even just call me a fucking virgin if you want. Like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm going to start regularly smoking cigars, but I think as a celebration sometimes, definitely at New Year's. I think at New Year's, once the bells go, get a cigar in your hand, a couple of whiskies, and we're sorted. And that's definitely me showing my age. Oh, that this beer is weird. I mean, it's called Yelamu, so it's YELAMU, double IPA. It's weird, but I kind of like it. I've only had about half of it, and I'm a little bit. Whew. So yeah, again, don't want to keep this podcast going. This is 53 minutes, too long. Right. So, lastly, actually, quickly, I think I didn't really mention this, but I've just missed it actually. I wanted to talk about Kanye West. Let's talk about him for a second. Won't spend too long on this. But Kanye's made some headlines recently. First of all, going on the Joe Rogan Experience on the podcast there, and for myself, sorry, I just knocked the microphone. I quite like Kanye West music. He is controversial, but I do like it. I think he's a weird one, isn't he? He's a weird one to figure out. So I watched the Joe Rogan Experience because I've never really seen him in interviews. I've heard his music. I saw when he went up on I think it was the Grammys with Taylor Swift, and it was like, Beyonce made the best of all time, best music video of all time. Which, I agree with actually. I've seen some of his Twitter rants about how he's like pissing on his Grammy and stuff. So he's a very controversial character. But I don't know too much about him. Obviously he's married to Kim Kardashian and all that. But I watched him on the podcast with Joe Rogan, and I don't know. It's weird. He's definitely raised a few eyebrows in there because he's basically gone on to this Joe Rogan Experience saying that he has a calling from God, that he wants to be president of the United States. And even if you Google him, like if you Google him right now, it'll say at the top, Kanye West, candidate for US president. Now, he's never going to win. He's never going to fucking win. It's just not going to happen. Like if he wins on Tuesday, which it is Tuesday by the way, so soon. If he wins on Tuesday, you know what? I'll let you have one of my beers. I'll let you have that. But he's not going to fucking win. He doesn't have he has a party. What's his party called? Let's see his party. It's called the birthday party. This guy's called the birthday party. So, he is a rapper. He's got his own record label, I think. He also owns Yeezy. Is he? I think he owns Yeezy. I don't know too much about him. I've done some little bit of research about him. So he is basically known to be a music, basically in the music industry. That's him. But I found him very narcissistic on the Joe Rogan Experience, and for him to say some of the things he said, it was kind of weird because he keeps reiterating that he's a genius, that he is a visionary, that he has a calling from God, and it's very strange to hear that from someone. It is very strange, and I think he has two sides to the story. You have, I think, the mainstream media who hate him because of what he says and the way he acts, and then you have, three ways, and then you have people who don't agree with him, and then people who absolutely adore him, people who think he is a calling from God, who thinks he's a genius and everything. I just find myself, I don't think he's a genius, I don't think he's any of these influential terms, but some of the things he said in the Joe Rogan Experience were relevant. Like, he says that some of the quotes he's got here, like one of the best ones he said was, telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. This is completely true, and he says he tells the truth, but he always lies about his wealth. He always lies about how much he's worth. He's a strange one, and I don't know how to play this. I don't know how to say, with him saying that he's a genius, because I think maybe musically he could be considered a genius. He definitely has made some charts and songs that have kind of spoken to people. He made an album. It was a rap album dedicated to Jesus, so it was basically a gospel rap album, which is, I would say, definitely a genius move in that way. But to kind of put himself as someone that is a higher calling than everyone else, that's kind of stepping it a little bit too far, isn't it? I don't think Elon Musk sits there every day and says, I'm a genius, because Elon Musk is a genius. He is someone who has created products that have changed the world for good. Basically, he's made a flamethrower. That's still awesome. You think of Elon Musk as a genius. You think of Stephen Hawking as a genius. Again, we're kind of looking at scientists, I guess. Roger Federer, a genius in tennis. Lionel Messi, a genius in football. So I put Kanye West maybe a genius in music, but he kind of collectively thinks he's a genius in the whole world of schemes and things. And it was just weird looking at the podcast because he does mention a lot of times how he wants to help people, but how rich he is, about how he is very humble, but keeps calling himself a visionary. And I think the thing which kind of turned it all as well is it was Kim Kardashian's 40th birthday. She looks pretty fine for 40, by the way. Like, I'm not saying, but I would. That's the beer talking, not me. But it was her 40th birthday, and Kanye set up this hologram of her dad. Was it like some hologram? Just check this. It was a hologram of her dad. Yeah, of Robert. Is his name Robert? Yeah, Robert Kardashian. That said that. I mean, it's kind of freaky, isn't it? I mean, can you imagine if your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, partner, whoever, sent you for your birthday a hologram of your, your mum or dad who have passed away? I'd be a little bit freaked out. I think, I mean, it'd be interesting, but I'd be a bit freaked out. And also, this hologram was saying to her, "Was like, yeah, I'm very proud of you, blah blah blah, all the good things." But he also said that, your husband is so a genius. Like, he literally said it. You're such a genius so many times. I mean, this is that's just a bit weird, isn't it? Is that a bit weird to anyone? I don't know. That's just a bit fucked up. And it feels like Kanye is kind of always reaffirming that he is a genius. I don't know. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with that. I think you need to be a little bit more humble to kind of understand that you're no better than one man next to you, or woman, sorry. Um, I think he definitely. My breakdown of Kanye is that he definitely has mental issues. I think he's been diagnosed as being bipolar. Again, that's controversial. They don't know if that's true, but he has been diagnosed, I hear, being bipolar. I would break it down to a couple of things here. Number one, he's a very successful musician, so he's gonna have a very inflated ego that needs petting, that needs someone to kind of, he needs to be always reminded that he is the best, especially in the rap world where you kind of, it's all about money, about who has the most money, who has the most power, who has the most biggest following. And I say that in rap, it's actually in probably most music genres as well. So I would bring it down to that he is a very successful musician, and although I think his last album flopped a little bit, he considers himself to be the number one. And I think he even said that he was like the richest black guy in America. He said that, or second richest, wealthiest. So he is definitely inflating that. I think number two, he's part of a family of the Kardashians who are basically, I mean, Kim Kardashian is, I think, one of the most famous women in the world. So he's basically a super unit with her and their family. I mean, the sisters alone, they have so much wealth and power in that unit that they have put themselves on this pedestal at the top that they are number ones, and they basically, they are the most important people in this country or the world. And so with that, that kind of gets to your head, I believe. I don't know. I'm the bottom of the bottom, so I don't know. I think what that brings as well is that you have people who surround yourself who don't challenge you because you're number one, and people want to be approved by you. People want you to like them. So when you say crazy things, such as, I mean, he was saying in the Joe Rogan podcast that he wants to build a stadium for 100, 200,000 people for a church, which, I think, fair enough. Like, if you have maybe the one-off, one-off Christian rock night, maybe you could do that, but a church every Sunday, I doubt it. So if he was to present that idea to, say, myself or to a normal person, to anyone of, any business acumen or anyone who's got a brain, they would be like, "You're crazy. I'm not going to build that stadium. You're joking." But because they're probably surrounded by people who say yes to everything you say because they don't want them to be upset, they don't want to lose that, connection they have, then this kind of reaffirms them to be thinking that they are the greatest that's ever lived. I don't think you hear Mozart saying, that he's going to be, playing to stadiums of 100,000 people. Although back then, obviously, those possibilities weren't as possible then. He played to the biggest crowds in the world, but he never really affirmed that as much. Oscar Wilde would say that he declared his genius all the time, but he limited his genius to his writings. He didn't think that his writings in philosophy, sorry, you know, does he think he could write music? I don't think so. So why is Kanye kind of risking going into these other aspects? It's a discussion. I think if you need to look into it yourself, I think you definitely need to check out the Joe Rogan Experience, the Kanye West episode. It's very interesting because I mean he doesn't make sense in half of it. You can't follow it. It's so difficult. And people are saying, "Oh, he's amazing." Just people can't keep up with him. It's like no, he doesn't make fucking sense. I think he's also taken a lot of drugs. That might be another reason why. He is high on either himself or something. So yeah, definitely check that out. I've probably ranted way too long on this. Sorry, I do apologise. Yeah, definitely too long. Okay, I'll leave that with Kanye. Definitely let me know what you think. It's he's a strange one. I do like to hear from him though. He definitely brings entertainment to the world. Okay, so that brings us on to our final one. I think you're all happy now we're on the final fucking subject. I am as well because I want to finish this beer and I want to go for a walk, but it's raining outside and windy. Might go to Brewdog and find some Irish guy. Okay, so the book I'm reading at the moment is 1984 by George Orwell. A lot of you might have heard of this. A lot of you might have read about it. Read it as well. Sorry. I've never read this book. I know it's a classic. I've never read it, but I've only read the first 30 pages, and Jesus, my mind is blown because this book was written in the 40s, and I don't think I'm going to spoil anything so far by talking about what I've read in 30 pages I've read. But this guy, George Orwell, this book, as I said, was written in the 40s, and it was obviously based in 1984, approximately in 1984. And he's talking about telescreens, almost like iPads in the wall. He's talking about that in the 40s, iPads in the wall, about screens of people talking to you, about these telescreens which sense sound, almost like your Samsung TV where you say, hey Samsung or hey Google, like that. He's talking about that in this book. He's talking about this dystopian world where you have different ministries, about Big Brother is watching you, which we all know Big Brother as being the TV show, obviously came from this book. But it's so significant just reading the first 30 pages. I mean, I'm literally entrapped. The only reason I put it down was because I had to go to bed, but I'll be reading this tonight. It's so interesting. And also, I mean, he talks about helicopters. Now, in the 40s, obviously, helicopters were invented, but the prolific use of it in this, he's actually talking about almost like Vietnam use of helicopters, the choppers. Such a visionary. So I'm going to read that, and I'll definitely finish that within a day or two. It's so interesting. It really is, and I've heard so many good things about it. Obviously, good things as in it's fucking depressing and that it can be linked so well to people now. I think it also links in social interactions of people nowadays with other people, and the hatred of other people and polarization, which I'm down for. I'm down for. And on that note, you'll be glad to know I'm going to leave it there. So yeah, it's it's a shorter one today. I hope you liked it. I mean, I not liked it. It was quite depressing, obviously. If you have any comments or any ideas, please let me know. Just give me a shout either on YouTube or just message me on Instagram at KBeatBot, and KBeatBot is on YouTube as well. I'm going to leave you guys now. I'm going to leave you with a classic scene, obviously, with the passing of Mr. Sean Connery. I'm going to leave you with this scene here, and I bid you a good night and a happy Halloween. Thank you.
Mr. Bond, I suppose you wouldn't care to raise the limit?
I have no objections. Proposi une madame, c'est élégant, monsieur.
No.
C'est suivi, monsieur.